Hello, Lucas here from Sonics, and today we will take a closer look at the mixing session of Slothmachine's song called Ouroboros. So let's start with this session, and actually the first special thing about this song is its name and its pronunciation. Ouroboros Song, den dritten, habe ich es richtig gesagt? Ist vorher geübt, muss ich sagen. Ja?
Das ist sicher einer der besten Versuche.
Now let's start with the drums. There's a separate bass which we get rid of for now. Then there is the drum bass with all effects on.
Geil.
Nice.
I love it.
And so on. So there is a bass drum which has a boundary microphone and a bass drum microphone. Let's listen to them separately without any gating going on. So there's the boundary mic which has a boost at 60 Hz. Which only is engaged when the kick actually plays. Then there is the other kick microphone right here, sorry, right here, where we get rid of some mid-range. What we don't need for the kick, also some very top end and some very, very low end below 20 Hz. And then there is a EQ on the kick bass here, where these two are summed together. Exactly, which looks like this, where we also boost some 60 only when it's played to get a little bit more attack in this range, and also some click up here, some high range, and get rid of some 200, which would be muddy, and also the snare is around 200 in this song. So this is the fundamental note of the snare drum. So then let's get to the snare drum and put also off the sample for now. And also the gate. There is a top snare drum going. Let me have a look where it is, like right here. Here we have some more snares going. Listen to this. Some hi-hat in there, of course. But maybe some snare on its own, like right here. Also with some hi-hat, but leave it. So we boost some 100. Get rid of some 500. That's about it for the top signal, and at the bottom we boost some 170 like this. Oh, sorry, we don't listen to it. Here is the bottom signal. So to get this knock of the snare, which we got rid of in the kick channel, as we remember. Sorry, the kick cue right here. So this is the area of the snare drum. And this is what we boost here. Then the snare together, top and bottom mic have this channel going with some saturation, some slight EQ in the top end, and also around 100 Hz, some slight compression, and this distortion right here. And then there's a special thing, there is no gate, but there is an expander. And this is because the low frequencies can ring out longer than the high content, but the detection is kind of the same at both. So as you can see, the release on the low frequencies is way slower, and this is why I don't like to use a gate and prefer this expander stuff from this multiband plugin way more for this purpose. Also on the tom-toms, which we get to now. So there are two toms, a rack and a floor tom. Let's look at it right here. Actually, this is why I love the use of spectral view in Reaper, where I can just see the frequencies depending on the colors. So you can always see, okay, what is like a simple content and what is actually tom-toms, also in the color. So if you have like something that's bleeding into the tom mics, you would see it easily like this. So let's loop this passage with the toms. There's also, you can see again, for the lower and for the higher tom, the expander trick. So the high content gets pushed away way faster than the low content. Again. And we also have some EQing going on the tom-toms, which is the floor tom and the rag tom. And which is more interesting is the floor tom in this case, because we got rid of this mid-range at first, but this was too much of a metal sound, modern metal sound, and we wanted to keep it more like prog-rock. So we left it in there. I'm gonna show you the tom with this EQ band right here engaged. Switch it off. So this stuff. Actually, this way it sounds more like rock, and this would be more like metal. But we decided to go for the more rock sound, like a more natural one. So exactly, this is how the toms sound. Also, they have a reverb, but let's get to this later. Then there's some overheads, obviously, where we get rid of a lot of low frequency content and roll off at 700. Some soothe to take out some harsh stuff. Transient designer, special kind of it, which is quite interesting. So this one gets rid of attack above this frequency right here. So you can leave the attack in the low frequencies and have it released in the higher ones. And also this mix rack by Slate, where we take off some transient, boost, some 10K, some airband and some shimmer. So we just emphasize on the high frequency content. So this sounds like this. Before the Q takes away a lot. Soothe takes away this. There's not really much going on at this passage. Let's look at here. Yeah. So this is what we get rid of. There's this transient designer. And also there's one in here, which doesn't get rid of that much right here. Oh, because it's switched off. Let's switch it on. Ah, I see. It is actually automated for only this passage right here. Yeah. Here it is off. We leave it here, but the other stuff in the whole song, there we get rid of some transients. So here we do the opposite. We make it smoother. So here we engage the enveloper to have some less attack and disengage the transient designer. So we need a bit more of this effect at this passage, and here it's turned again opposite. So let's get to the rooms where there's something very cool going on. Let's switch it all off again and listen to some rooms. At first there's an EQ. Let's make this a bit louder. Then we get rid of some stuff like this. Then there's the fun. Just really like this UAD API for this purpose. And then we lower it for one semitone. Which just adds some awesome weight to it. Then let's listen to all the drums. Put the room lower. Without the pitch. With the pitch. Just makes it sound a bit cooler. So then there is also some kick, snare, tom-tom bass going, which is like a distorted kick and a snare to put it more up front, which sounds like this. Like the drums with it, drums without it. But this makes way more sense in the whole mix.
Nein, ich finde den Sound super. Also da will ich gar nicht wirklich viel dazu sagen, weil das gefällt mir extrem gut.
And let's go to the bass guitar, which is right here, and was recorded the I-track. Sounded like this. there is some multiband going. To start with, just taming some frequency content. EQ compression, really boosting 1K. Here you see it's 1K. Then getting rid of some 300 stuff like this, stabilizing the low end a bit, and getting rid of this high stuff we don't need here. And also distortion, but the distortion is off below 200 Hertz. It is only engaged above 200. So we only distort this content. And this stays clean. Then there are two sends going. One is like a short plate and one is a mixture of a chorus and some room. Let me put this in way louder. It's like this. This is the wet signal. And this is just to get the bass a bit less mono and more stereo.
Bass-Sound habe ich eigentlich super gefunden. Hat mir wirklich gut gedacht.
Then there's the guitar bass. Like there were two main rhythm guitar parts, one on the left and one on the right, heavy panned. They got slight compression going. I really like this Reaper stock 1175 compressors, like with a very like 130 milliseconds attack, which is not that fast, but a fast release, just to tame them a bit loudness wise. And then there's some soothe going, just getting rid of this stuff. And some EQ, which does a lot without it. So we get rid of this very high frequency content. We boost the side signal around 3K, which is this, only here, to get it a bit more broad up there. We get rid of some nasty 1.2, this one, also some 500 we get rid of, and this funny resonance at 90, which was kind of annoying me. And there's also a second guitar bass of all guitars, which is the white one, which is called Guitar All, where there's a dynamic EQ cleaning up around 2.5K, like this stuff, which was nasty, and taming some high-end this stuff. Also some EQ, take away some 550, this boxy stuff. And what was very important was boosting of this 3K range around here without it, with it, and adding some shimmer and some thickness, shimmer and thickness.
Finde ich super geil. Also ich finde der Gitarrensound ist amazing. Der fetzt richtig schier. Ist gut.
Yeah. There are the vocals. Not much done to the vocals. There is a great plugin which is called the Snapshot, and what it does is it's a snapshot. So you can make pictures and put it in there for me to replicate the settings on the output equipment, because this was on a ratio of 8:1 with a mid attack and a very fast release on this 1176 output, and also the settings, and also my insert settings on Reaper, that I know the levels, which like plus 2.8 and at 0, so that I know how I processed it if I get some more tracks sent in and want to replicate what I did. And there's just some slight EQ going at, again, 500, 527 right here, which is this range. So we
cast down your gaze at the
get rid of this
maze
with
of
it.
mankind.
Then there are some sends to it, like a small plate, a chorus, a PCM 70, and some room. Without it, it sounds like this.
Hands, cast down your gaze.
So there's this chrome plate stuff. Then there's this chorus, again to make it less mono. And it has its own right here, which is just some room. Yeah, so that's the vocals. Then there are some shouts and some backing vocals, which were processed pretty heavily because I don't like too much S and F inside my backing vocals. So like right here, the S are cut away. So the shouts just on their own sound like this. There's no S because there's another track right here. And there's enough S in there. Because otherwise it would be way too much S in there and the S's would get way up front. So let's just get rid of them. Also with the main vocals we don't want too much high frequency stuff to get in front of our main vocals. Again here. If we would leave all the S's in at the sacrifice, it would get way too much of the S. So just get rid of the S. Exactly. Actually, they sent in a pretty good mix of this choir, so I just used it as it was, but I would have had the tracks down here to mix them myself, but they made a very cool blend, which the band already liked, so why not use it? So that's about it. There's still some guitar solo going on right here. Where I sent some delay without it and some room. Some compression and taking away some low and some high stuff. Because the heavy guitars are playing and they already have this high range. So right here. So the heavy guitars already have this high range, so the solo didn't need it. Make the solo effects on. Overheads are a bit loud. On the height. Actually something funny happening at this passage because the tom-toms get panned to the sides way more. They were broad. Usually they are like this, and at this part they are like this to open up for the guitar part. Exactly. So then let's maybe add the snare sample now. With the snare sample to get the snare way more in front, and also this bass. Let's mute it. Let's have a more loud part with it, without it, with it. So it is a big part of the drum sound, But if you listen to it on mono, it doesn't make sense. But in the overall mix, it makes a lot of sense. And I was just talking about this kick, snare, tom, bass right here, which on its own sounds like that. Just to have these major elements of the drums going more in front when the whole song is playing. Yeah, so for effects, that's about it. These are kind of my standard effects that I use. There's a very great room setup of the Valhalla played by Ron and Chris Murphy, which I just copied from his YouTube video, so kudos to him. And it's a plate reverb, which the snare is going to, some other plate, where the also snare and samples are going to, like the snare folder, some other plates, a concert hall, which gets fed from track 47, which is the main vocal, yes. Then there is this chorus, which on the bass, on the vocals, and some other reverbs that don't get used that much, and some quarter note delay. And that's about it for effects on this song. So altogether, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this run through of this mixdown from Slothmachine's Ouroboros. And if you are working on a song of your own at the moment, reach out now, because for the first 3 people who DM now, I can give some free feedback on what you're working on. So be quick and talk soon. All the best. Bye bye.